Welcome to our podcast. Today we're diving into a major development. The White House has ordered a temporary pause on federal financial assistance programs.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Overnight, NBC News learning that the White House has ordered a freeze of federal aid starting at 5 p.m. today.
My administration has been moving with urgency and historic speed to reverse every single disaster of the Biden administration.
The new head of the government's budget office saying in an internal memo obtained by NBC News that the pause extends to, quote, all federal financial assistance and activities affected by President Trump's recent executive orders, including foreign aid, non-governmental organizations, DEI, woke gender ideology, and the Green New Deal. The memo says Social Security and Medicare will not be affected, and neither would payments directly from the government to individuals. But many Americans get federal funds on everything from loans to food aid to farm assistance indirectly, and it's unclear if those programs would be affected. The order says it's targeting the parts of the government that will be changed by President Trump's recent executive actions, that could include everything from some efforts to lower prescription drug costs to clean energy jobs and programs. Congressional Democrats overnight saying the president's actions, quote, put the financial security of our families, our national security, and the success of our country at risk. The Trump administration argues the government needs to align with, quote, the will of the American people as expressed through presidential priorities.
We got rid of the woke crap.
It's part of a series of recent actions from President Trump, including executive orders on the military yesterday, focused on rolling back diversity, equity, and inclusion, and recognitions of transgender service members. And he said building an Iron Dome-style missile defense system around the country.
Let's jump right in.
That's huge news. What exactly does this pause entail?
Well, according to a memo sent to government agencies, the pause affects all federal grants, loans, and other financial aid.
Wow.
It went into effect on Tuesday at 5 p.m.
So we're talking about billions of dollars being put on hold?
Exactly, and it's not just a small sector. This impacts local community programs, major research initiatives, disaster relief, basically anything that relies on federal funding.
That could have some serious ripple effects. What's the rationale behind this decision?
The memo cites the need to review programs to ensure they align with President Trump's policy priorities. They mentioned stopping the use of federal resources to advance what they call Marxist equity, transgenderism, and Green New Deal social engineering policies.
Wait, the Green New Deal? That wasn't even passed into law, was it?
No, it wasn't. It's interesting they brought that up.
Yeah.
It seems they're targeting programs they believe don't align with their agenda.
But can the president actually halt funds that Congress has already allocated?
That's a big question. Senator Chuck Schumer said this action blatantly disobeys the law.
Right.
So there may be legal challenges ahead.
And what about the people affected by this? I mean, we're talking about essential services here.
Absolutely. Diane Yentel from the National Council of Nonprofits called it a potential 5-alarm fire.
Wow.
She mentioned it could halt research for childhood cancer cures, close homeless shelters, and more.
That's alarming. How long is this pause supposed to last?
It's set to continue until at least mid-February. Agencies are supposed to report on affected programs by February 10th.
So it's like pressing the pause button on, well, everything.
Pretty much. And the memo mentions more than $3 trillion could be affected, but that number seems questionable. Some
Yeah.
figures in the memo appear to be inflated.
Do we know if Social Security and Medicare are affected?
The memo carves out exceptions for Social Security, Medicare, and assistance received directly by individuals.
Okay.
But the definition of individual assistance is unclear.
So farmers or small business owners might be left in the dark?
Exactly. They're unsure if they'll continue receiving loans and grants. The lack of clarity is causing a lot of anxiety.
I can imagine. So what's the administration's defense for this move?
They argue it's to align federal spending with the will of the American people. President Trump stated they are moving to reverse every single disaster of the Biden administration.
Wait, that doesn't make sense. Isn't Biden the current president?
You're right, that's a bit confusing. It could be a
Exactly.
misstatement or perhaps referencing future intentions.
Or maybe it's just political rhetoric.
Possibly. But regardless, this pause is causing significant concern among lawmakers and organizations alike.
Have there been any responses from universities or research institutions?
Yes, the Association of American Universities is assessing the impact. They rely heavily on federal funding for research.
Right.
This could disrupt ongoing projects.
It seems like the fallout could be extensive.
Definitely. Lawmakers are expressing extreme alarm. Some have called the move breathtaking and unprecedented.
Do you think there will be legal challenges to this pause?
It's highly likely. If the action is seen as overstepping executive authority, courts may get involved.
Well, this is a developing story for sure.
Absolutely. We'll have to keep an eye on how this unfolds. It's like watching a high-stakes game of chess.
Except the pawns are real people and programs that impact lives.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so critical.
Let's hope for clarity and swift resolution.
Agreed. We'll be back with updates as they come in.